Hello, my name is Patrick Andrews, your Stenograph representative here in Florida and Georgia. Thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar on how to adjust your Luminex or Diamante. I have been asked so many times how to do this, and I'm amazed at how many times I've found out that customers haven't adjusted their writer at all, even though they wish their translation was better. The Luminex is a fantastic writer, and many use it as it comes right out of the box. But there are many adjustments you can make to customize the touch of the keyboard and make your translation even better. The Luminex has several features that make your translation the best it can be. There are two keyboard adjustment dials located outside the writer to make adjusting the keyboard even easier. The software in the writer has true stroke technology, in which the travel direction and acceleration of each key is independently measured, sensed, and analyzed to give a three-dimensional view of strokes. It will discern dragging, splitting, stacking, and shadowing. The slightest motion or the heaviest pounding will be measured to provide the highest level of accuracy when writing. And you have the ability to adjust individual keys within the software itself and even store several key adjustment settings for use at different times of the day as profiles. The Luminex has two keyboard adjustment dials located outside the writer to make adjusting the keyboard even easier. The depth of stroke dial on the left allows you to raise and lower the entire keyboard, including the number bar, to adjust the stroke depth. Roll the dial away from you to raise the keyboard. Roll the dial towards you to lower the keyboard. Keep in mind that the lowest setting might not be best for you, particularly if you stack strokes. Adjust the tension dial on the right to find the perfect amount of keyboard tension or resistance. Roll the dial away from you to increase the resistance. Roll the dial toward you to decrease the amount of tension. Within the software, you can make adjustments that affect the entire keyboard and/or individual keys. Keep in mind that you can always reverse any changes you make with a simple click and start fresh in case you feel you have over or under adjusted the writer. To begin making these adjustments, be at the main screen you're on when you first turn the writer on. If you open a file by mistake, end it so that you're on the screen that shows off at the lower left corner of the screen. On this screen, press Setup. On this next screen, since we don't see keyboard, press More at the lower right corner of your screen. On this screen, since we do want to adjust the keyboard, press Keyboard. On this next screen, press Adjust. This is the main keyboard adjustment screen where you would make changes if you're stacking or splitting, or if the entire keyboard is too sensitive or not sensitive enough. Stacking is where two strokes are written so quickly that they register on the same line, causing an untranslate or a mistranslate. Splitting is where some fingers go down before the others in a stroke, and the letters from the first hand register before those of the other hand. This results in a split stroke. Move to each setting by pressing the up or down buttons. Keyboard sensitivity. Use this setting if your entire keyboard is too sensitive or not sensitive enough. Indications of this situation are if you're getting a lot of extra letters randomly across the entire keyboard. In this case, press the plus or minus buttons to select less sensitive 1, less sensitive 2, or less sensitive 3. If a lot of letters aren't registering, press the plus or minus buttons to select more sensitive 1, more sensitive 2, or more sensitive 3. Keep in mind that if you're selecting level 3, there might be other ways to adjust your writer. Balanced works for most people. Split stack adjustment. If you're stacking, press the plus or minus buttons to select less stacking 1, less stacking 2, or less stacking 3. If you're splitting, press the plus or minus buttons to select less splitting 1, less splitting 2, or less splitting 3. Transition time. This option can be used if you are stacking or splitting and the split stack adjustment just isn't giving you a good result. It adjusts the timing between strokes. You might want to call support if you're using this setting to get their ideas on which setting might be best. Generally, if you're splitting, press the plus or minus buttons to select a higher number for a longer transition time. If you're stacking, press the plus or minus buttons to select a lower number for a shorter transition time. If you feel that you selected the wrong settings or just want to start over, press the plus or minus buttons next to Return to Factory Default Settings and select Yes or No. When you finish with this screen, you can either press OK to exit or press Adjust Keys to adjust individual keys so that they are either more or less sensitive. If the key comes out even when you don't want it, choose Less Sensitive and press the Less button. If the key doesn't come out when you want it to, choose More Sensitive and press the More button. To adjust a key, press the key until you see it highlighted on the screen. Notice that the number under the key will change when you press more or less. Balanced is 0. A general rule of thumb is to increase or decrease the number by 10. For example, plus 10 or minus 10. If this doesn't get you the desired result, increase the number in increments of 5 after the first 10. To make a key less sensitive, for example, it registers even when you don't want it to, press the Less button 10 times. Again, if this isn't enough, increase by increments of 5 until you reach the desired setting. Note that the little bar for the key will move up, indicating that it will register later than the other keys. To make a key more sensitive, for example, it doesn't register when you want it to, press the More button 10 times. Again, if this isn't enough, increase by increments of 5 until you reach the desired setting. Note that the little bar for the key will move down, indicating that it will register sooner than the other keys. If you're not happy with your adjustments or you just want to start over, press the Reset button. This will return the settings to factory default. Press Done when you're finished, and then exit the other menus as well. If asked if you want to save the changes as a profile, answer No if these are the only settings you will use. If you want to save the changes as a profile, for example, morning versus afternoon settings, answer Yes and give the profile a name. In closing, I urge you to adjust your writer if you're not getting the translation or feel that you want from your writer. If you need to, ask for help. In most instances, a little adjustment will go a long way in improving your translation rate, your comfort level, and your peace of mind. Never just let time go by without making your writer all that you want it to be. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to learn more about how to adjust your writer. If you would like more information, please contact me at 630-532-5350 or pandrews@stenograph.com. Thank you and goodbye.